Hi friends, we shall start today's discussion with the most basic concept in ophthalmology, the structure of the eyeball. The eyeball can be thought of as three spheres nested within each other: the outermost fibrous coat, the middle vascular coat, and the innermost neural coat. These three structures together form the three coats of the eyeball. The posterior 5/6 of the outermost fibrous coat is white and opaque, and that part is known as sclera. But the anterior 1/6 is more curved forwards and is transparent, and that is called cornea. Coming to the middle vascular coat, it has got three parts. The posterior portion is called the choroid, the middle portion called the ciliary body, and the anterior portion called the iris. The ciliary body, that structure has got two parts again: the posterior flatter structure called the pars plana and the anterior finger-like projections called the pars plicator. Behind the iris, we have a clear biconvex glass-like structure called the crystalline lens. This lens is held in position by numerous ligaments emanating from the ciliary processes and attaching themselves to the periphery of the lens. These are called the suspensory ligaments or the ciliary sonules. In the posterior part of the eyeball, we have the nerve fibers which exit the eyeball and go towards the brain. This is called the optic nerve. Now we shall start labeling the different parts of the eyeball. The posterior opaque structure called the sclera, the anterior transparent cornea, and the junction between the sclera and the cornea, that is called the limbus. Coming to the uveal tract, the posterior part, that is called the choroid, the middle flat part, that is called the pars plana, and the middle finger-like projection called the pars plicator. Together, they form the ciliary body. Extending anteriorly, you have the iris, and in the center of the iris, there is a small hole called the pupil. Next is the innermost nervous layer, that is called the retina, and the outgoing nervous fiber bundle, that is called the optic nerve. The structures anterior to the posterior capsule of the lens constitute the anterior segment of the eye, and the structures posterior to the posterior capsule of the lens constitute the posterior segment of the eye. The aqueous filled space in the anterior segment of the eye is divided into two chambers, the anterior chamber and the posterior chamber, by the iris. The portion between the iris and the cornea is the anterior chamber, and that part between the iris and the lens is the posterior chamber. Now behind the lens, we have the vitreous cavity. It contains a clear gel-like structure called the vitreous. Now this portion where the retina ends is the ora serrata. Now we shall see what happens when light enters the eye. It passes through the clear cornea, the clear aqueous, through the pupil, through the clear lens, and through the clear vitreous, and finally reaches the retina. There, these photons are converted into electric signals which pass through the optic nerve and reaches the brain, and the brain interprets what we see. See you soon with another video.